You might even have a semi-obstructed ocean view and also a view of the Aqua Theater show, which could be a huge benefit. And other than that, I guess I can't think of any reason to book one of these cabins. It is Sunday, December 25th, 2022, and on this week's edition of Sunday Sofa Time, we're talking about the worst cruise balcony cabin. Well, here we are. We made it to another Christmas, everybody. I hope you're having a great holiday celebration. If you do a holiday celebration, Marcus and I have stayed home this year. We have done a completely stress-free holiday celebration. Last night we made Flammkuchen, or like flatbread pizzas with a homemade pesto. We did like a self-made wine tasting, and then we watched the movie. What's it called again? I can't think of the name of it, but it's with this explorer and his son, and the explorer goes missing, and then the son goes to this crazy world, and then they meet again. That's not a... Don't worry. That's like the least of the spoilers. It's on Disney Plus. I'm sure you've heard about it. I think it's called Strange World, actually. It was very good. And the soundtrack was exceptionally good. It reminded me of the old John Williams soundtracks, like E.T., sort of that genre. Very good. Highly recommended. Then today in our house, we open up our presents in the morning on the 25th. So we did that this morning. It actually is the 25th when I'm recording this right now. And yeah, today we are going to, or for dinner tonight, Marcus is making steak made out of meat, and I'm making like fake steak. And then we're gonna make some potatoes and some Brussels sprouts, and that's going to be our dinner, and then Christmas is over. But I hope that whatever you did, you had a great time. I hope it was stress-free. I hope nobody in your family was too annoying, and I hope that the weather was bearable. First order of business after that, I know people who come here and watch all of these videos, who I am so thankful for, know that at the end of January, I'm going to be in Central Florida, and I am organizing a sort of fan meetup where you can participate in, or you can be, you can be part of filming a Sunday Sofa Time, which I'm gonna be doing live. And I want to do sort of a meetup and bring some other fun surprises, make sort of an entertaining night out of it. It will be on one night between January 27th and February 2nd. So, I'm moving along with the planning of this, and the next thing I need to do is find a more sort of concrete number, how many people might be able to participate, because finding a place to do this in the way that I want to do it has been a little bit trickier than I thought. So if you are going to be in the Central Florida area sometime between January 27th and February 2nd, and you think you are interested in being a part of this, and there are only going to be a limited amount of spots, the way that you are going to be able to get updates and then an invitation, or be able to perhaps, let's say, purchase a ticket to this, will be if you send a mail to the address sofatimelive@gmail.com. Please just send me a mail there. Let me know which of those dates would work for you, and I will be sending out the information to everybody who signs up to that mailing list. And don't worry, I'm not going to be selling your address to anybody else. I honestly wouldn't even know how to do that. All right, I was lucky enough to do several cruises this year, including a cruise on the largest cruise ship in the world, the Royal Caribbean Wonder of the Seas. And the balcony cabin class that I want to show you today has to do with the Oasis class of ships. Back in 2009, Royal Caribbean introduced this new class of ship called the Oasis class. The Oasis class includes the Oasis, the Allure, the Symphony, the Harmony, and the Wonder. I hope I got them all. I've cruised with the Harmony and now the Wonder. And each of the ships I just listed, when they were launched, were like they all took over the title of biggest cruise ship in the world from each other. And the Wonder of the Seas is the current biggest cruise ship in the world, and it will remain that, I think, until the new ship from Disney launches, or the Icon of the Seas? Honestly, right now, I can't remember which one of those is supposed to be the biggest, but if you know, let me know in the comments below. So the Oasis class of ships, the biggest cruise ships in the world, and by the way, Royal Caribbean has held the title for largest cruise ship in the world for a very long time, because before the Oasis, the biggest cruise ship in the world was the Liberty of the Seas, and before the Liberty, it was the Freedom of the Seas, and it wasn't until before that that the title was held by a different cruise line. Do you know what it is? Can you think of it? If you're sitting with somebody, discuss it. I'll give you 3 choices. It's either the Norwegian Epic, the Queen Mary II, or the Sky Princess. Which one do you think? Discuss it. Final answer? Yes, the last cruise ship to hold the title of largest cruise ship in the world before Royal Caribbean was a beautiful cruise ship from Cunard called the Queen Mary II. And when the Oasis of the Seas was launched back in 2009, it had so many innovations, so many things that people hadn't seen on cruise ships before. The way this hull design is with the mono hull in the middle, and then 2 long rows of cabins and spaces on the sides, with these neighborhoods like Central Park, the Boardwalk. The Royal Promenade is not new to Royal Caribbean, and the entertainment place with the ice skating area, things like that, not new to Royal Caribbean. Other ships in the fleet had those before. But one thing that was new, that as far as I know had never been done on any major cruise ship previously, were balcony cabins that don't look out to the ocean, but look to the inside of the ship. This is only something that is new to cruise ships, because I have stayed in hotels before that have this kind of concept. One of them that comes to mind is the Embassy Suites in St. Paul, Minnesota, where I grew up. This is an Embassy Suites that's been there for like 40 years. And I just remember that sort of the front of the room to the inside was like a balcony. Maybe I'm remembering it wrong. It has been a while since I've been there. So one advantage of having a balcony that does not go out to the ocean side is, first of all, there's way more balcony cabins to be booked on a cruise ship like this. And I think most people would prefer to have some kind of window you can open where you can go out and get sunlight on your face, get some fresh air into the cabin, or have extra space outside of the inside area that you can go to. And even when we're talking about ocean view balcony cabins on cruise ships, there are good ocean view balconies and not so good ocean view balconies. For example, some ships, the pool deck is designed that it's much wider than the part of the ship where the cabins are. And if you have a balcony on the deck directly below the pool deck, that pool deck area might stretch so far out above your cabin that you will get literally 0 amount of direct sunlight on your balcony. And that's one of the great things about having a balcony is, especially if it's a very private balcony, is you can sunbathe on your balcony, and if you want to, you can do it butt naked. As long as you're not in port, on many balconies, what you look like and what you do out there is something that nobody's gonna see. And I think that is something that a lot of people who book an ocean view balcony on a cruise ship really look forward to. And I don't necessarily mean this in like a perverted kind of way. Sometimes it's just nice to wake up in the morning in your underwear and go sit out on the balcony as the ocean goes by. Or sometimes if you are sunbathing on your balcony, it's nice to maybe pull your suit down a little bit or take off your top if you have breasticles. And just get a nice even tan all over the place. So that's one huge bonus about ocean view balconies, is just the privacy. Well, there are some advantages to these inside-facing balconies on the Oasis class of ships, but it's much easier to find disadvantages. And I think as I sort of show you my opinion of these cabins, I'm pretty sure that most people will agree with me. One advantage, I guess, if we're gonna look for advantages, is that not only are these cabins usually a little bit cheaper than an ocean view balcony. And if you see this cruise that I just sort of randomly searched for, it's about $200 less. But something I didn't realize until I did this search is the inside view cabins are a little bit bigger than the ocean view cabins, which is something I wasn't expecting. So the advantages so far are possibly a little bit cheaper, and I know from searching other cruises that they are not always cheaper. Sometimes they cost exactly the same. But so sometimes a little bit cheaper. There's like 2 more square feet of cabin space. If the weather's really bad, if the ocean is really bad, like lots of winds and things like that, then the inside facing cabins with the balcony aren't necessarily affected by that, although there were some days where it was really windy outside, and we did notice in Central Park that it was also very windy, so that's not a promise in a way. One cool thing about the Boardwalk view cabins, so the Boardwalk is the neighborhood on board that is outside at the back of the ship. It includes the landing area for the big slides. It also includes a little carousel and the aqua theater where these really fantastic aqua shows are produced. So the cabins that are there, if you're sort of towards the back of the ship, you might even have a semi-obstructed ocean view and also a view of the aqua theater show, which could be a huge benefit. And other than that, I guess I can't think of any reason to book one of these cabins. For me, the biggest detractor, the biggest reason not to book Boardwalk View cabin is you have absolutely zero privacy. And not only that, some of these cabins are like being on display. With the way that the windjammer is set up on the Wonder of the Seas, if you are sitting at one of the sort of inside tables and are looking out through the windows, you see the entire row of balconies. And so if somebody's sitting out on their balcony having breakfast, or, maybe you just got out of the shower and you want to hang up your swimsuit or something, which you definitely should not do if it's really windy. And that's why you should always bring clothespins, paper clips. Hang up your swimsuit with paper clips. Always bring clothespins to make sure that whatever you have on your balcony is secure. But anyways, you're getting out of the shower and you just want to hang up your swimsuit really quick. People are going to see you. Not only the people on the balconies on the other side, but if anybody's in the windjammer looking out on one of those inside seats, they're gonna see you. And speaking of the Boardwalk View balconies, the Boardwalk gets really loud sometimes. The aqua show, which I loved on the Wonder, I say it in every video. I know you're probably sick of hearing me say that. Hey, but at least I haven't mentioned my book yet in this video. But the aqua show is really loud. So if you have kids, or if you like to go to bed early at night, or maybe, I don't know, maybe you're not feeling good and you just want to have a quiet night in the cabin reading a book or something, if the aqua show's going on,
not gonna happen.
And circling back to being on display, the way that this sort of inside, I don't know, I almost want to call it a canyon. These ships are so huge. The space is like a canyon. The part of the ship that begins as Central Park and then continues through the back as the Boardwalk. If you're looking down from the top, it's like a canyon. But there's elevator banks at the very front of it and then dividing it in the middle. So it's like Central Park, elevators, Boardwalk. And there are walkways to get from one side of the ship to the other there. And if you have one of the cabins that are right at that walkway, then it's like people waiting for the elevator are like right next to your balcony, and it's like being in an aquarium. You are on display there. And for me, that lack of privacy, and it's not only because it's nice to be on the balcony in your underwear, but just the fact that you might just be sitting on your balcony and not even realize that there's like a whole group of people behind you just sort of staring at you and what you're doing. I don't know. I just don't dig that. And for me, it's gonna be a no. I'm not saying I wouldn't stay in one of those cabins, because I guess in a way, I would rather have one of those balconies than an inside cabin. But all of the Oasis class ships, as far as I know, also have the virtual balcony cabins as an inside cabin. And for the price, those are really cool. I would definitely stay in one of those again. I guess there is something about having one of those Boardwalk balcony cabins that are towards the back where you can see the aqua show and the ocean. I think If you're gonna do one of those cabins, those are probably the best. And then you just have to be a person who stays up late at night so that the sound from the show is not gonna bug you. If you've stayed in one of these inside-facing cabins, please give me some highlights and lowlights of it in the comments below. Also, if you know that maybe some older ship that I've never heard of had cabins like this, like inside-facing balcony cabins, please let me know that as well. And now will come the time on Sunday Sofa Time where I comment on your comments live on air. In last week's Sunday Sofa Time, I told you about how I was stuck in the Munich airport for 9 hours, like 2.5 of them just sitting in an airplane that was not moving because of all sorts of weather problems. These comments are on that video. The first one is from Suzette113. Suzette writes, "Always love and enjoy all of your videos no matter what you want to talk about. Keep up the amazing work you do putting out videos that we look forward to. The comments on comments was a bit rough towards you, but you handled them perfectly." Thank you, Suzette. Thank you. Thanks everybody who makes a comment about anything. And of course, these kind of like complimenting comments are always great to read. Like I've said in other videos and also I talked about in my book, is that when you do what I do, there are no performance reports. You don't meet with a supervisor who tells you what you're doing good and what you're not doing good. You kind of have to motivate yourself, and comments like this are a great motivation, a great performance review in a way. But the reason I picked it is because Suzette mentioned that I picked some of the comments last week that were critical of the way I was making the videos and addressed them just in the way that I thought was appropriate. And just wanted to remind you again that I don't always just pick like sugary compliments like this fantastic one from Suzette. Next comment is from Debster Lee. Debster writes, "I know you had no idea how long of a wait you would have, but at some point I would have rented a car and just driven home. But the weather might have played a factor in that also. You handled everything perfectly and your kindness to the gate agent paid off in the end. Good karma for you. Enjoy your holidays." Thank you, Debster. Enjoy your holidays too. I hope you had a great time. And here's a little interesting tidbit about driving and Germany. I've had my driver's license since I was 17 years old. In the US, you can get a license starting at 16 and even earlier, depending on where you live and what you need it for. At least that's the way it was when I was getting my driver's license. Like the kids who lived out on farms, they could get a license to drive to school and to drive to a job, like in the city if they needed to. But in Germany, the laws are very different, and my American driver's license, which I can use to drive in literally any country in the world, I'm pretty sure, I cannot use it to drive in Germany because I live here. And I know this is something that's it's really hard to understand. Germans are big on paperwork and rules and regulations. And because I am a resident of Germany, but have a driver's license from a different country, it's not valid. I need to get a German driver's license, but it's not as easy as just showing up at like the German Department of Motor Vehicles and getting my American license transferred to a German license.
Oh no.
I have to go from the very, very beginning of driver's education and do that whole thing. And in Germany, that's a whole ordeal and it costs thousands of dollars. And I'm just too stubborn to do it. But I could literally fly to Paris, rent a car there, and drive to the border of Germany. And as soon as I get in Germany, my license is not valid. So that's one reason, that's probably the main reason that I did not get a car and drive home, because technically, I don't have a license here in Germany. Final comment is from Dina Mo. Dina writes, "Travel is always an adventure, and this was another one. I know this was not an entertaining day. Morgan, thanks for sharing in a very entertaining way. By the way, I would have also not divulged everything known about your supposed booked flight." I'm pretty sure that what Dina's talking about is the flight to Bremen that I was booked on, that I had discussed. Well, if you've seen the video, you know what that's all about. But it feels good to know that I'm not the only one who would have then at that moment sort of forgot about that. Thanks for chipping in and letting me know I'm not alone. Before this video wraps up, please swipe up on that remote or on your telephone and press the thumbs up. It really helps me out. Make sure you're subscribed if you want to get more travel videos like this and from tourist destinations around the world. And I hope you go back to enjoying your fantastic holiday celebration, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.